Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. I hope everybody had a fun David Bowie dance party at the end of our last segment. I thought we could use the move around, and it felt good. So I already see you guys posting in our MeWe forum. Claire, your David Bowie art is so beautiful. I love it. So you guys, it's awesome. And welcome back into our One Heart, One Earth Global Awakening event for November 2020. My name is Lisa. I'm your host. I'm the host of the Buddhist Biohacker channel. One Heart, One Earth is my baby, I think, that I birthed this year. And here we are raising the vibration of the planet on such a special day because it is 11/11 and it's 11 somewhere on the planet right now. So I am very excited to introduce you guys to our next guest, Dr. Lisa Thompson. Welcome, Lisa, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyone named Lisa is good with me. That's for sure. We both have dark hair. Do you know what's funny is I don't know that I've ever met, there's not very many Lisas with light hair. Have you noticed that?
You're right. I don't know if I have met one. That's interesting.
I think we're like the dark goddess Lisas. Like that's kind of how it works. It's almost like you can't be a Lisa if you're blonde. No offense if you are a blonde Lisa, but I've just never met one. So
can't think of one either.
No. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, you're new to the show and you're new to the community, but I just really, when we connected, I felt so connected to you. And I'm just really excited to spend some time with you today. And welcome in, everybody. Of course, comments and questions are welcome. But why don't we start out? I just want you to share a little bit about who you are and what you do and all that good stuff, your story.
Okay, well, I'm just so happy to be here with you and the whole audience. And so I have a bit of an interesting history. So I am a scientist by training. I have a PhD in biology, specifically marine biology and zoology. I've been an interior designer for 12 years. And then I also do past life regression and human design, and I'm an intuitive transformational coach. So what I really do is combining all of those elements. I work with my clients to create sacred soul environments that support them physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So it's really about being conscious of your external surroundings, but also what's going on in your mind, your body, your spirit.
Oh, I just love that so much. Now, I actually had some clients asking about human design. I had somebody talking about it earlier. So we have to talk about it a little bit because I don't think everybody's familiar with what that is. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, I've been on a few other programs recently where human design was the topic, and people are like, I haven't really heard of that.
Yeah.
And I discovered it maybe 6 years ago, and I was working with a human design coach locally here in my town, and I fell in love with it. My mother, she was an astrologer when I was growing up, so I've always been aware of astrology, numerology, those different modalities. But human design actually is science meets the woo-woo. So it's a combination of Western astrology, the I Ching, the Hindu chakra system, Kabbalah tree of life, genetics, and quantum mechanics. And so I love it. Being a scientist, what it really does is it shows you who you were designed to be in this particular life. It also shows you what kind of ancestral traits you come in with from your family, from the epigenetic side, as well as then who you are consciously designed to be. And what I love about it most is I'm all about people finding their inner wisdom, learning to hear and trust their intuition, their inner wisdom. And human design specifically tells you what your specific way, your natural, authentic way to hear that inner wisdom, to receive that information is. And so once you start working with it, then you're able to actually get yes and no answers for yourself that help your life flow much more smoothly than you trying to fight against the current.
That's pretty amazing. That sounds right up my alley with all of my own studies in epigenetics and quantum physics and all these things. It's so cool. What's that like for a client who wants, like, how does that process look?
So most of the time I'm working with ongoing clients where I'm coaching them from who they actually are designed to be rather than just a one size fits all coaching. Like, well, everyone has to do the same thing this way. People are designed differently and they need to be asked questions in a different way. They need to have their own timing, their own rhythm of getting to their correct answers for themselves. And so I can do readings as well, though, just once-off readings to give you the general overview. But what I love about it is actually working long-term, really helping people to understand who they are and not fight against it anymore, because society, familial conditioning, it actually reprograms our mind in a way where it makes things harder in our lives. And so when we're able to follow our true design, again, things just flow so much easier. We're on our true soul path.
That sounds amazing. How fun is that?
Yeah. Well, I love combining it with my past life regression therapy, because what I love about past life regression is, there is no past, there is no future, there's only the present. All timelines exist simultaneously. And so when you can go to that really deep level, at that quantum level, then you can tap into those different timelines and you can rewire your brain when you come out of it, making shifts.
Well, and isn't that interesting? Let's talk about that for a minute, because the past life regression, so it was quite some time ago, actually, probably 10 or 11 years ago, that it became very clear to me that there's really no such thing as past lives, that it's really, it's just alternate experiences for your soul happening right now. And it's really just fragmented experiences, essentially. Sounds like you're on that same bus.
I am, but people, humans like the linear past future. So it's easier to, I guess, say it in those terms, because thinking of simultaneous lifetimes being stacked on each other, people have a hard time believing that just with how they grow up.
Yeah, it's true. And it's hard to language it, because it's like, well, it's not really in the past. And that's why we can access it. So it's very interesting in that way, how to language that with the clients, and how do you review, like when you do the regression therapy, do you also do any kind of soul retrieval with that? Like, what does that process look like for you?
Yeah, the way that I operate with it and how I was trained. So Denise Lynn was who I was trained by. She's one of the world-renowned experts in past life regression. And so the way that I work with it with clients is the soul knows what it wants to heal or reveal. So even though there might be a particular agenda that the client wants to do, the soul may have a different experience with that. And so once they get into that very relaxed state, into the subconscious mind, then whatever issue that needs to be revealed and healed will come up. So there'll be a scene that might look like a different life, a different experience. And so when, let's say, something traumatic comes up that they're observing, either they're in the body or they're watching it like a movie. Everyone experiences this differently. And so they're in that scene observing, and if it's something that they've carried forth to this particular incarnation, which it's coming up, so they have, it's an issue that we can change either the meaning of that event, or we can actually change the event completely. You can rewrite it. And by either rewriting it or changing the meaning, what happens then is that when they come back into this conscious state, then from the quantum realm, that starts to percolate and it starts to rewire the neurons in the brain. And so you can make change even in one session. It's very powerful.
So amazing. Are you doing those remotely now with the global event? Yeah.
I am. I love in person just because I love the energy of people and experiencing that. But, in this pandemic that's going on, everything's gone a lot more online. But I'm able to touch a lot more people that way. So I've actually embraced it.
Yeah, it kind of pushes you out into the world, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and I'm getting ready to move. I live in Olympia, Washington right now, and I'm getting ready to move to Kona, Hawaii at the end of December. So my local peeps, I'm not going to be able to have them anymore. So this distance online environment is really going to help with that.
Oh, that's exciting. I lived on Maui, and it's just a joy to be in Hawaii.
Yes, I cannot wait. we're our house closes next week, but we have to then put it in the market here. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How long, when do you move?
I think we're going to do the second week of Christmas break. I've got kids, a 6th grader and a 9th grader. And so I want to do it when they're not in school.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was the call to the island?
So I have a lot of calls to that particular island. So as a marine biologist, my specialty were actually stingrays and all their relatives, manta rays, slates, sharks, because manta rays and stingrays are just flat sharks. But I was like one of the world experts in these fishes.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was 8 years ago, I finally got to go to Kona and do the night swim with the manta rays. And there was 33 in the water with me and the group of people. And it was one of the most spiritual, magical experiences I've ever had. And they come within inches of you doing their feeding. They're so intelligent. They're completely harmless, just gentle giants. And what I've come to realize is manta rays are my #1 spirit animal. And then my first spirit guide that I was able to connect with is a Polynesian warrior. And so I have the manta ray connection, Polynesian connection, and then in the last 3 years, I've had a really strong connection with the goddess Pele, and the Big Island is her island. So
yeah,
all of that together, I'm just like, I've been to Maui and I loved Maui, but Kona has the manta rays that live there year round. They come in every night. And so I wanted to be able to have that experience all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. I have a whale connection. I look sort of frazzled, you guys. I'm starting to look a little bit messy on here, but I have a whale connection, and my most magical experience I had, because now I feel called to share because you shared your manta ray. And oddly enough, Tamara, who's on our morning pulse check, just had a manta ray dream like a few nights ago. So this is very peculiar and interesting. If she's on, she should share it in the chat. But anyway, I lived on Maui for just under a year and was out there and had an incredible, profound healing there. And I was out one day bodyboarding up at Slaughterhouse, which is a beach and surf beach up in the northern, it's up by Kaanapali. And so I was up there and I was bodyboarding all day, and it was just like one of those days where it was just fun, and it was like wave after wave after wave, and before you know it, the sun was gonna set. I mean, it was like, wow, this has been the longest day. And so it ended up, me and a few other adults and some kids, it was like some families, we were all just sort of floating in the water, like, are we gonna get any more waves? Because it just kept going and going and going. And so imagine it's like sunset on the island. It's really like almost about that time you need to get out of the water. And we were all floating in the water, and this gigantic whale just breached up out of the water, like probably 100 feet from us. It was so incredible, and the waves rippled, and then the baby came up, and it was a little baby whale, and this mother and baby just kept coming up and down and up and down. And I sat floating in the water watching these whales go up and down out of the water, and the sun was setting. And it was like, literally, if I die, it won't matter. Like, it was one of those, just like you said, it was so spiritual and so beautiful to be in that space. So it's like, I'll never, ever, ever forget that. It was just incredible. Like, what a gift.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I am so looking forward to having the whale experience there too. I've been around different kinds of whales with my marine biology stuff, but whales, dolphins, all of those highly intelligent, conscious beings are incredible.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Well, and the whales, like when you lay back in the water, like in the bays, and you're snorkeling, and you go underwater, you lay backwards, and you can hear all the whales singing in that bay. It's just incredible. So I'm jealous of you. It's so wonderful. I'm dying to get back there, but I'm kind of waiting, obviously, for this mayhem to settle down.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the thing. Like normally I wouldn't buy a house sight unseen, but we did.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Well, and there's so many energy portals there and vortexes and amazing things. So that's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm very excited to explore all of those.
Oh, love it. Yeah. Well, let's talk about sacred soul love. Like, what's that all about?
So I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Sacred Soul Love. And what called me to write it is because I did not choose an easy, happy life this time around. I had some really, really hard lessons to learn. And what it boiled down to was self-love. So, my parents, they divorced when I was 2, not uncommon, but my dad moved me away from my dad. And so I hardly got to see him. So I felt abandonment issues with that. And then my mother is not one of those lovey, touchy, huggy people. She's highly introverted, highly damaged just from her childhood. And so I felt very lonely and unloved and unworthy as a child growing up. And so I would try to fill that hole wherever I could with relationships, with friendships. Just I had to be around people all the time that were going to fill that hole for me. And so what ended up happening when I was old enough was I'd have boyfriend after boyfriend after boyfriend, no breaks. I couldn't be with myself ever. Like I didn't like myself. I didn't love myself. And my only sense of worthiness really came from being a high achiever in school and then my careers and, things like that. But I never was modeled great relationships from either of my parents or actually any of my family. No one had healthy relationships. So my first ex-husband, I've got 2 ex-husbands. First ex-husband ended up being highly, highly toxic and abusive. Emotional and verbal mostly, a little bit physical. And the thing that saved me with that relationship was having my daughter and choosing her life. Like she was way more important. And so I could leave him because of her. She was 7 months old when I left that marriage, but I didn't heal myself. And when I met number 2, I was still going through the divorce. And I thought, oh, shiny new object. He seems very different, seems nice and loving. But even though he wasn't abusive in the same way, he was highly controlling and not respectful at all. Like he didn't respect who I was and my spirituality whatsoever. But we got pregnant really fast, like within 5 months. So then I felt obligated to stay in the relationship for 8 years, trying to work that out. And not being able to express my authenticity. I wasn't able to be my spiritual self around him. He would just squash it and fight me. And it was hard. And so couldn't do it anymore. I had to choose myself over that relationship. And I wanted to show my kids this isn't okay. I'd rather be happy and alone the rest of my life than be in a bad relationship. So when I left that marriage, I was like, okay, I am the common denominator here of all these relationships. I keep calling in these people that are just mirroring me. So let's fix me. Let's work on me. Let's heal myself. So I worked with a coach and I pulled in my different modalities, spiritual tools that I've learned from even being a little girl. And I spent about a year like hardcore working on myself and truly acknowledging the love that I have within and my worthiness. And so from that point, then I was able to meet the love of my life. And we've been together for 5 years now. And it's It's night and day difference, the difference in the relationship, the respect, the communication, the friendship, just the amount of love that I can give and receive because of that healing of myself. So the book is all about that, all of the techniques and strategies that I use to heal myself, because I want to share that with the world. You know, a lot of people are in that hurt state and keep repeating bad patterns.
Yeah. Well, and keep trying to make something work. I mean, I think we're all guilty of doing that, where with relationships, whether it's romantic or friendship, but like, you know, we just keep trying to make something work, right? Like, what is that in your experience now that you're on the other side of it? Like, what do you think that is?
Fear. It's fear. I know that husband number one, like he kept planting into my head and squashing me down of like, no one's ever going to love you. No one's ever going to accept you for having an ex-husband, or you for having a divorce and a daughter. No one's going to ever accept her. And so I believed that for a while. And then number two, he was, you know, just staying in that, he like, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the kids. And I've never really been one for the sake of the kids, because I think that if we are whole and healthy and we are doing our life in a healthy way, we're such a great demonstration for our children. But it's fear. It's not and it's also sometimes not knowing how to get out of it, or that it's okay to get out of it. And I've had friendships that have ended. Even with writing the book, I had a couple friends that were not happy that I wrote this book, and we are no longer in each other's world.
Wow. What was their unhappiness about?
So one of them was her dad was actually my coach that I reference in the book. And she had a falling out with her dad, and she thought I was making him out to be this hero, but she was also mad that I didn't include her as being my best friend, and the back and forth that we had. So I guess looking at analyzing, it's a little bit of narcissism.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, why didn't you include me in the book? You put my dad in the book. And I'm like, yeah, your dad really helped me, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you did too, but like, it's different. Friendship is different than hiring a professional to really work on strategies.
Yep, it's so true. Well, and how do you deal with relationships coming, you know, we've all had it. I've had it this year. Everybody's had it. Relationships have I had some like new ones come in and go right out this year. I've had old ones go. You know, how do people manage? What's your advice to manage those relationships that are leaving right now? I really do need to figure out what's happening.
So, I mean, like, I've had a lot of changes throughout my life. The different careers have had different friendships for a certain time. So, you know, there are friendships that come in for a certain season. Maybe there's something that we need to learn from them. They need to learn from us. We gain that wisdom, they gain it, and they're out. It's okay. You know, there's an ebb and a flow. There are people that may always be in our lives. You know, it's a soul contract, a soul level thing where, you know, we're part of a soul tribe. We're meant to be together. And I do have a couple friends like that when I met them, I'm like, yeah, we're together no matter what. This is like, I love you unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, there are the people, again, that stay a little longer, but I think it's all about what we're learning and what they're learning. We all have a give and take with different people. And I think not being afraid to let things go, because when we change, sometimes people are not able to be at that same frequency of resonation. And so it's just a natural parting.
Mm-hmm. So true. There's so many great comments. You guys are such a great audience. Burnett says, I'm really thankful for you sharing your story. It's hitting a strong chord for me. And Carrie says, your story resonates with me as well. As we heal, our unhealed friends seem to fall away. And isn't that true?
And actually, the other friends that I've lost with the book are the ones that are still repeating their same kind of toxic patterns. They're not willing to do anything different. And it's like, okay, well, I'm moving. I'm like changing. I'm working on myself. So I love you, but that doesn't mean that I need you in my space.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. And it's tough because you know, we all love and care for people as healers, but you also have to say, okay, like you've got to go on your journey and I need to go on my journey. And that's not always easy to do.
And even with family members, you know, I actually 4 years ago, I had to cut my dad out of my life completely. And I am fully at peace with that. And it's fine. And it's what I had to do to like set nice boundaries, because part of self-love is about self-care, and that's about boundaries. Mm-hmm. And really, you know, being aware of who is in your environment, because if you allow toxic people in your environment, well, you do have some control over that. Yeah. So he's not going to change who he is.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'll see you in your next lifetime, maybe.
What does awakening, like, what do you think about awakening? Here we are in our awakening event and the global awakening, and everybody's talking about waking up. And I think a lot of people have different definitions. And what does awakening mean to you?
So for me in my life, it's been about learning and exploring who I really am. Like I love your theme, remember who you are. And so for me, it's like, I'm not just this human, this ego of Lisa. That isn't who I came here to be. I came to remember that I'm much more than that. I am love. I am light. I am one with the source. And so then what does that look like? That looks like I can create my reality. In fact, I do create my reality. I manifest my dreams. I learn the wisdom, the lessons that I came here to learn, and I move on. It's all about evolution, I think.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And everybody evolves differently, right? I mean,
they do at a different time. And the timing is perfect. Whatever your timing is, it's perfect for you.
Yeah. I want to open it up to you guys in the audience. If you guys have questions for Lisa or anything, just put it in your comment box here and I'll be happy we'll answer those for you. And Lisa, I'd love for you to take a minute. I mean, you talked about what you do, but do you want to share a little bit about your presentation and your offering for this event, just to give people a heads up if they haven't been into the presentation window yet?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So what I did in the presentation was I led a guided meditative journey to actually feel and remember that self-love within. So I recommend, if you're going to watch that one, that you get in a comfortable place where you can actually fully relax and take the journey. But it's like really seeing yourself for who you really are and feeling that and being able to then carry that forward into the world. So I loved, that's the first time I've ever done that particular journey. I wrote it specifically for this event. And when I was, presenting it, I was in that meditative state as I was doing it, and I could feel it resonating out of me. So thank you for that opportunity, Lisa.
Oh God, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And just, anytime I can do a guided meditation, because I don't know about you, but when your job is to take people on journeys and go through meditation experiences, it's just a treat to have somebody do it for you.
Yes, I love it. Yes. And then the gifts that I'm offering, it's a 3-piece manifestation bundle, PDFs, where one is creating sacred soul space for inner peace, one is creating sacred soul space for abundance, and the other is creating sacred soul space for self-love.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I just got some really exciting news for this moment that I have to share with the whole group and to you. I was not expecting this, so this makes me so happy. I'm so happy. Is Julie Ware or Cheryl Garcia on this group anywhere? Are you guys watching live at all? Julie Ware, Cheryl Garcia. Cheryl might be working. We'll see if they are. I'm so sorry, Lisa.
Go ahead.
I am an Ayurvedic practitioner, and I have been using Banyan Botanicals products for a really long time. I'm an affiliate with them. And we created the One Heart, One Earth Global Healing Virtual Wellness Clinic this year. And it's a virtual wellness clinic, which, by the way, any practitioners who would like to be a part of this, you can email me and we'll work this out. But the idea is that folks can apply. You guys can apply for free healthcare with us. And you can also donate to pay for someone else's healthcare. So it's a real opportunity for you to give and receive. And we have myself and a couple practitioners right now. April Megason's going to be joining us also. She does yoga therapy. Anyways, I had applied for a grant through Banyan Botanicals for our clinic to help launch it. And I just found out we got it.
All right.
That is so amazing. I can't believe it. This is so awesome. And they just wrote and they said this. So this is hats off to everybody in this community. They said, your ability to orchestrate such a powerful event and online platform is amazing. So it's just awesome. It's awesome.
That's incredible. So today's manifestation portal.
Yeah,
so, love it.
Let's talk about that. This is so great. You know, it's a little thing. It's actually just a little thing, but it's such a big thing because it just means we're doing great things. So, anyways,
that's incredible. So,
let's talk about this manifestation portal. Tell us about what you know about this today.
Well, so, 11 in numerology, very, very powerful. And now we have 11/11/2020. But for me, like, what it means for me is today, this whole day, and tomorrow, because the energy will still be there, is I am being extra conscious of my thoughts, of the realities that I'm creating, because, most of our reality is created at that subconscious, unconscious level. But with this portal, it amplifies the manifestation. And so the more that we are consciously aware of what we're trying to create in our lives and being able to visualize it and like feel it as if it's in our body, like physiologically feeling it, that it's done, then that is the essence of how manifestation works from the quantum level. So that's what I'm doing today and tomorrow. I mean, I try to be consciously aware all the time. But, life and kids and pets get in the way. But like today, really just thinking about what I'm creating in this life.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? What does that mean for you?
Well, it's kind of funny. My birthday is 11/21. So I've got this 11 and my husband's birthday is April 11th and my littlest stepdaughter's birthday is September 11th. So we have all these 11s at our house. And last year on 11/11, something changed and it was really potent. And I got this information about doing this work with lineage and epigenetics and all these things. And I was like, well, what is this all about? And I felt like I was going into a new year on 11/11. And then all of these things that happened this year, I mean, geez, whew. And so today felt kind of like New Year's to me. Like this is a new year and honoring 11/11. I did a couple things. Steve Noble, who I love so much, I don't know if you've been on his YouTube channel, but it's fabulous. Oh God, he's got these quantum meditations that'll blow your mind, Lisa. You'll love it. He has an 11/11 meditation and talks about a choice point, right now about what path and what reality and all those things. And so I did that last night and I really felt strongly like the vision that I had or the clairvoyant images I had was that no matter what we choose right now, we're all going to come back together through this time. And So for me, really from now, 11/11 to 11/21, feels like this New Year's time for me between now and my birthday. So what I'm doing today, besides this is pretty epic, and the grant we just got is pretty epic. But what I'm going to do is really just sit with my spirit team tonight and ask them, like, what's next now? Like, what's this new year about? So I think that's my manifestation, is really looking at what is spirit's direction, because they always have one. I don't know about you, but they're always giving me stuff to do. It's exhausting.
Yes, I know. Well, and I know you're a channel, and one of the things that is becoming more and more clear, and last night it became so clear, is that I am going to start working with that. I'm a newbie, and I know one of the presentations you were talking about the book Open to Channel.
Yes.
Informational for you. Well, so I just got that book because you and the other lady mentioned it as being. Oh, yay. So for me, that's my other kind of portal that's opening, is allowing that in, and like really accepting that I can do that. Well, and what's interesting is I grew up going to a channel. So my mother was an astrologer, but when we were 13, we actually moved to a school of enlightenment that's channeled by Ramtha, and so I'm well aware of that kind of channel. And so I was like, okay, that's for special people.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do, Lisa? I'm going to gift you with my channeling course.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a Divine Channel. It's a video course online. I'm going to gift that to you. And actually, if you guys are watching this live right now, because you've been such troopers, if you email me at mail@Lisa, I'm sure I'll give it to everybody who's watching right now.
That's incredible. I thank you so much.
We can't have enough channels, man.
Well, and I have a very strong connection with the Arcturians. And so I have a feeling that that's part of what's going to start happening.
Oh my gosh, yes. Another channeling sister. Cynthia's on here right now. She channels the Morkian Collective. She was on earlier. I think Cynthia and Victoria Jane and me and you, we can do a little channeling group. I like it. Some kind of something on here. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. I love that. Yeah, you guys are welcome. I think, why not? And you'll love it, Lisa. We had a great, it's 7 classes, I think, but it's just awesome, because I just think it's so important that we learn how to connect, to connect and pull that energy through. And the hardest part is trusting it and not feeling like a big weirdo.
I know. Well, and that's something that when I started working with my spirit guides, I had to just trust. Okay, yeah, I'm not making this shit up. It's right. And even if I am, it's still like, because we're all connected. It's real.
Oh yeah, it totally is. And it evolves, and it's interesting. We're kind of getting way into woo-woo land, but whatever. I like it. That's because we have this flow. You and I have a flow, and I do hope you're coming back. And I feel like there's a lot more for us to do together here on this platform and beyond. But things are changing. I got a message last night when I did that 11/11 meditation. The language, I like to be different, but so does the collective that I channel. And they were like, we're not going to use these words like timeline anymore. And we're not going to use some of these other buzzwords. And so what they told me last night, I got to get through this event's a lot of energy, but I did take next week for the most part off. There's a couple things going on, but I feel like I'm going to download a whole new way of communicating information and a different outlook on it. Because I feel like what I'm getting from the team and what I feel in my heart is there's a lot of separation being created by the language. Haven't you felt that?
Yeah, I totally do. And I mean, there's just separation in the world in general. And so that language definitely is very divisive. And people, they don't understand necessarily that they're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Using these different words. And it's like, it's the same thing, people. So yeah. So no, I like that. Totally.
I used to believe in the 5D, and that's part of why we're 11D in here. And so I just feel like, you know, channeling is a gift because if you trust it, which I do, I mean, you just put complete trust into your higher beings, which are really you. So it's your higher knowing, it's your higher wisdom. And that, in fact, is part of what's changing. They told me the other day, they don't even want to be there's no name anymore. Like, so you guys are going to find that coming through. And like I said, this is all very new and I haven't processed it yet. But essentially it was like, it's just higher wisdom. That's all it is. And I feel like, you know, when you put your trust into the higher wisdom and God's source and just go with it, things just keep unfolding and unfolding and new. And you can call it an upload or an upgrade or a download or a template or whatever you want to call it. But it's really just coming into new consciousness.
Yeah. And I feel like I've been experiencing that without actually consciously knowing that that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us are in this community.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Lisa, I just love having you on. You're so great.
I love being here.
Oh gosh. And I love that you're going to Hawaii because I'm totally going to come visit you. I'm dying to do a retreat, some kind of channeling retreat in Hawaii, but I think I'm about 2 years away from that. Maybe not, but I think so.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm not doing a channeling retreat, but I'm going to start doing retreats in Hawaii, in Kona. I also have Bali and Thailand because those are two very near and dear to my heart places as well.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to everyone today? What's your parting words of wisdom, or what's your thoughts for today?
Something I've been teaching to my students, my clients recently is all about discovering and trusting your inner wisdom, your intuition, that what we've just been talking about, your higher self, the source, the information that you're getting, trusting that over what someone else is expecting you to do. And take the next step that's best for you. Be willing to disappoint other people so that you don't disappoint yourself.
Beautifully said. Oh, I love you so much. What a fun time we've had.
Thank you. I know I've had a wonderful time too.
You better send us some Hawaii photos once you get moved. And I hope you're coming back. I'll reach out here and we'll talk about the new year, but you're just a lovely soul. And everybody, you guys, thank you for being such a great audience. And we still have a couple hours in front of us, three more actually. We'll be back here at 4 o'clock Mountain Time with Karen Lazone to talk about Awake, Aware, and Ready to Create, I believe is what hers is called. And then we will be on with Mary Lydia Ryan, who is such a beautiful musician. Have you heard her music? I mean, she's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We actually, after watching her, we connected on Facebook, and she actually lives just north of me in Seattle. So.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, she's awesome. So she's going to be on at 5, and then Misa Hopkins and Julie Hoyle at 6, which I can't wait for. I hope everybody watches that one because it's going to be so full of Shakti. Our bodies are going to explode with light. Those two ladies are like so awesome. Lisa, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's watching. And I love each and every one of you. And we'll talk to you soon. See you in a few minutes. Bye, guys.